Welcome to class today. We've got a hatha yoga class. You may need some blocks. If you haven't got blocks, you can always use like a can of baked beans or something, a book perhaps, to elevate the floor. But like I said, you don't have to have these. Right, shall we get started? We're going to come into child pose. Now, if child pose is not suitable for your knees, just come onto your back and give your knees a hug. So we're just going to stretch off the back a little bit. The other alternative is to take a puppy pose. So I'll demonstrate both. So child pose, you can either have your knees wide and come into that position, or you can have your knees together and come into that position. If that's not suitable, you can also put blankets or pillows at the back of your calves, and that can help the knees sometimes. Otherwise, have your knees hip width apart and take your head towards the floor. And that's puppy pose, so you could do that option as well. If your head doesn't touch the floor, just take a pillow or cushion and pop it underneath your head so that your head's not hanging. Lovely. So let's get started into this. So just find a nice comfortable position to start in. I always find when I come into child pose, I'm sure you can hear it already, my nose goes all blocked. So as you come into child, just starting to be aware of how everything feels today. How does your back feel, your hips, your neck? And then just start to reach those arms a little bit more forward. So think of trying to create a bit more space between your armpits and your hips. Taking a deep breath into your rib cage. And notice how your rib cage and your belly expands into your legs. And on your exhale, just see how your rib cage and your belly pulls away from the legs. So breathing into the legs. And away from the legs. Reaching your arms a little bit more forward. Keep your elbows off the floor so that your arms are more active. 2 more breaths. At the end of your next exhale, really hug your tummy in and notice how your tailbone goes towards the heels a little bit more, and perhaps you can feel a bigger stretch down the side of your body. 1 more. So if you are on your back, you can come into all fours, and we're going to step forward with the left leg. Now, what you can do if you've got issues with your knees, just pop a load of pillows under the knee or even under that part of the shin bone, and that will keep the knee off of the floor. So we're going to stay here. Now, this is where I like to use blocks. So even for someone like me that's got really long arms, I like to think of space. Whenever I'm doing Pilates or yoga, I want space in the body. So for me, having blocks under the hands just helps me to get a little bit longer in the spine. Pull the shoulders down the back and lengthen. So if my hands were on the floor, it's a little bit harder for me to pull my shoulder blades behind me. So like I said, you don't have to use a block or books or anything. I just like that length it gives me in the body. Pay attention to your front knee and make sure it's above your ankle. So often if you haven't taken a big step forward, your foot will be like that. So we want to make sure that that foot is directly under the knee. Slide your back leg out and hold it there. So lift the heart. Bring the attention to your pelvic floor and just notice, like, are you gripping with the pelvic floor, or does it feel like it's relaxed? Just mind you don't pee yourself. Shoulders down the back, lift your collarbones. 1 more breath. Bring the hands to the floor, and we're just going to take that front leg to the back again. And then just give your hips a little wiggle. And we take it back to child pose or puppy pose, whichever one you want to do. Breathing into the body, expanding into the legs. And as you exhale, reach those arms a little more forward, send the tailbone to the heels. Keeping your arms active. Inhale to all fours. We step forward with the right leg. So remember, you will have differences on both sides. Like for me, this is a little bit more challenging. Knee under the knee. I need an anatomy lesson. Ankle under knee. Bring the blocks if you want to use them. And lift your heart and your collarbone. So you almost want to imagine your collarbones trying to go forward and up. And your shoulder blades are trying to come together and down the back. Just relax through your hips. Now be mindful that, I'm trying and exaggerate, that your hips don't swing off to the side. So your left hip wants to be pulling forward, and the right hip thinking of it going backwards. It's going to help to keep those hips in a straight line. So breathe in, lengthen, and exhale, just relax into the hips a bit. One more breath. So from here, just move in the blocks, taking the front leg to all fours, and just give those hips a little wiggle again. Always like to get some clicks, and then back to child pose. So hopefully you notice maybe your hips can go a little bit further back, or perhaps you can reach your arms a little further forward. Breathe in. And exhale, really lengthen the side body. Inhale to all fours, stepping forward with the left leg. Make sure your knee is above the ankle. Again, you can use a block if you want to. I'm just going to use one block this time. So have the block in line with the foot and under the shoulder. So if you've got any wrist issues, you can have your fingers over the end of the block. Another option is to come up onto the knuckles, or you can be in that position as well, or even, I've got a thick mat here, having the hands slightly out, so I'm going to have it there. Now just take your left hand onto your knee, inhale and turn your spine so you're looking towards the left. Hold it there, breath in. On the next exhale, take your left hand up to the ceiling. Now what I want you to be aware of is that your hips don't start to roll to the left. Pay attention to your left knee and make sure it stays in line with your toes. And your rotation is coming from the belly button. So think of your belly button turning towards your left side. If there's no issues with your neck, you can gaze up towards the hand, or just gaze to the wall in front of you, or perhaps to your bottom hand. Push away with the supporting hand so that you're not sinking into that shoulder blade. And imagine your shoulder blades are trying to come down your back. 2 more breaths. So with each exhale, hug your spine, get your spine to turn. 1 more breath. Inhale, bring your hands down. Move your block, taking the front leg to the back. And again, just give your hips a little wiggle. And back to child pose. Or puppy. Reach your arms forward, keeping the arms active. Breathe in. Exhale, reach a little further. Tailbone to the heels. Inhale to all fours. Step forward with the right leg. So take your time getting it all set up. There's no rush. Knee above the ankle and using the block if you want to use a block. So the block is directly under my left shoulder. Take your right hand onto the knee and just rotate for a minute. So you can either stay here, hold it there, breath in. So when you exhale, think of hugging your spine and get your abdominals to help you turn. If you want to go one step further, taking the hand up towards the ceiling. Push the floor away from you with your left hand and be mindful that your right knee isn't pulling out. So feel your foot on the right hand side and make sure the weight is down through the ball of the foot as well, so you're not coming off of the ball. Holding it there, breathe in, reach up to the ceiling, hug your spine, exhale, rotate. So again, you can look up, you can look to the front or towards your left hand. One more breath. Inhale, bringing the hand down, take the front leg to the back, give it a little wiggle, and then back to child pose. This time relaxing your arms either under your head, or you can take your hands around the back of your legs, giving yourself a little rock. Bring the hands under the shoulders, just allow yourself to come up, and then bring yourself onto your bum. So just holding it there, just feel the sensations you can feel in your body. Blinking your eyes open. Take a breath in as you reach your hands up to the ceiling. Exhale, bringing your hands to your heart. And from my heart to yours, have a wonderful day. Take care.